Is Monday, December 27th, 2021, and this is our first episode of live for Garden Party Down Under, the 2022 block of the month, designed by Irene Blanck, who lives in Australia, exclusively for the quilt show. My sample quilt, which was made last summer by myself and several of my wonderful Sunday so-and-sos that helped me so we could get the quilt done in a timely fashion, is there behind me on the wall. I used all of my own fabrics for that, some of which are at least 20 years old. Some of my real favorites are in there. I'm currently working on a new one with the kit fabrics, and I'm going to show you that before we end today. I'll show you my center that I've done using some of the kit fabrics. So we'll talk about that a little bit. This quilt pattern is free for star members of the Quilt Show. A membership to the Quilt Show is $49 for the year. It gives you so much for that $49. There's a new show every 2 weeks. You also get access to all the prior year's shows. So you have almost 14 years of shows that you can watch with tremendous amount of great information available, some of which will absolutely help with this quilt for 2022. You also get, if you join now before December 31st, you have access to all of the patterns for Color My World. That was the 2021 block of the month pattern. It was very popular. It's great to see them starting to get finished. People are getting them all done and showing them on the forum. That pattern, come January 1st, will no longer be available on the Quilt Show's website. We only license it for the 1 year, and the rights will revert back to the designer, who was Wendy Williams. And if you want it after December 31st, that's this week, you would have to buy the patterns from her, and that would be a substantial cost to you for those. So you also then, of course, get the next year's block of the month that starts January 1st. That's Saturday. That's when all the patterns will go up. Each month's pattern goes up on the first day of the month. So month one pattern will be available on this Saturday, January 1st, and then every month, the first day of each month going forward. There's one additional block of the month that's also available from now until March, and that was the 2014 block of the month designed by Janet Stone called A to Z for You and Me, and that's a really great little pattern too. So that would be another free item for you just for being a star member. So we strongly encourage you to jump on board and see all the great stuff that's available. The first thing I want to tell you about is that I want to encourage you to be sure that next Saturday, January 1st, 2022, that you watch the show. It's show number 3001. We taped it last August in Dallas, and it is it's going to be a great show. I was real pleased with how well it went, and the crew is so professional, and they just really know what they're doing. And it shows you everything about making this quilt. I talk about what I've done differently on mine. I've got some optional alternative techniques if you want to do some piecing instead of all complete hand applique. And it's a great show that shows you a lot of good information. It's well worth your time to watch that before you jump in and start cutting your fabric. Also, I strongly encourage you to remind all your friends, those who aren't members of the Quilt Show, that show, 3001, the Block of the Month show, is free all of 2022 to everyone. So they don't have to be a member to watch the show. So I hope that you'll encourage people to look at that. There are many resources. So many times, I don't think maybe you don't know, but with most blocks of the month, you get the patterns and like, okay, figure it out. But I've sort of taken this under my wing. I like to teach people things, and I love this quilt. I enjoyed making it very much. And now, like I said, apparently I'm making a second one. I wasn't really sure I'd make the whole second one, and I'm still not convinced, but I might. It's so much fun to do, and the kit fabrics are fun. So we have so many resources for you. So, of course, first is a show 3001. There will be videos each month. There are currently for month one, come January 1st, there will be 7 short videos ranging from about 8 minutes to some of them are 20 minutes each on different segments of how to make this quilt. The forum is a great place. I'm going to show you that in a few minutes, how you can ask questions, how you can post your progress, see what other people are doing. That's a great part of being a member of the quiltshow.com. I put together a resource guide that had specific show numbers that you can go back and look at. There were 2 master classes that were put together about a year ago when we couldn't travel quite as much, and there wasn't, some of the taping couldn't happen. A masterclass on applique 1, a masterclass on applique 2. So each class show is about an hour long, and it shows you 5 or 6 different people showing what they do for their methods of applique, some hand, some machine. And that's a great little thing that you can do. And you can watch those now. As STAR members, you can go in this week before Saturday rolls around, when you're ready to get started on the other one. You can learn some things and get started to think about how you want to actually proceed with this particular quilt. So the resource guide is there. There are also pattern instructions. Irene has written some general instructions. There's about 4 pages of her general instructions. I've written optional alternative instructions for the things that I did that are different from her method. Those are available as well. And then each month, Irene has step-by-step instructions for making the block and doing if there's a border, or usually there's 2 different parts to the block. So month 1 has the center applique block and a dogtooth border around it. So there's 2 separate pages of instructions for those. So they're there. And then last, but maybe not least, is my blog. It is bbquiltmaker.blogspot.com. It comes usually twice a week, Wednesdays and Sundays. I release a blog, and it's my way of being able to teach the things that I want to teach for this quilt in particular, but other things as well, mostly quilt-related things. And I can put pictures, I can put lots of words, I can step-by-step and things like that. When someone asks a question on the forum that needs to be clarified, I can go right back into that blog and update it and put that information right there, as well as answer it on the forum. So I do hope that you'll take time to look at the blog. I always put it on the forum too, that it's been posted, so you know to go and look there, so that you can, I know a lot of times a question will come up on the forum and I'll go, okay, I answered that in the blog. They just hadn't looked at the blog yet. And that would be a good way for you to kind of get ahead of things. And hopefully it'll save you from a few things that you wished you hadn't done if you had looked at the blog first. So that's my pitch about that. Okay, now I'm going to switch here and share my screen so I can show you how to navigate to all of these places that we've talked about. All right, get there. Okay, here I am on the home screen, home page of the Quilt Show. I'm logged in. It says, Welcome Barbara up there. And this is where you'll go when you first go into the quiltshow.com. Okay. One thing I want to show you right here on the home screen, if you have not signed up for the newsletter, you should do that. So you can sign up right here. You give them your email address, and you will get a newsletter which comes out 3 or 4 times a week, and it has a lot of great information about what's coming in the quilt world in general. These lives are always mentioned when they're going to happen. Alex is live, so you know what her topic is and where they're going to be. There's just, you get a lot of great information. You also, by signing up for the newsletter, you also get the shop newsletter that advises you about things that are for sale. Star members get a head start when there are specialty kits and things like that. You get an opportunity to buy them before the whole world can buy them. So that's another good reason to get those. And it's just an email, and when you've done looking at it, you hit the delete button. So I would encourage you to sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already. All right, but on the home page, there's a lot of things that you could look at, and you could hunt down here and see that this takes you to the block of the month, the current year's, which ends here, as I said, December 31st. But right across the top are the sections. Watch is where you can see the shows. Learn is where we're going to go for the classes and the block of the month and projects. See Quilts is a gallery of quilts. Forum, I'm going to take you there in a few minutes and show you that. Quiltopedia is like Wikipedia for quilting. It's got, if you had a question about some topic on quilting, you could click on there and you'll almost certainly find the information. The blog, which comes in that newsletter several times a week, takes you right there. The shop takes you directly to the store. And then over here in the My Dashboard shows my account. It shows my avatar picture that I've gotten set up and when my membership would end or renew or all that sort of thing. So when you're ready, come January 1st on next Saturday, you'll want to go to find the patterns. So we're going to go to Learn. And we come up to, we're going to come to Learn. There we go. Okay. So I love this little logo. Kristen did a great job. Garden Party, and then Down Under is turned upside down. So you could click right there. It's at the top of the page right now. It makes it easy. If it doesn't happen to be at the top of the page, you come over here to Block of the Month, hit the down arrow, and you've got all the various blocks of the month that are there, Sizzle of 2019 and the current one and that kind of thing. So either one will take you there. So let's go look at Garden Party Down Under. All right. There are very few kits left. If you want a kit so that your quilt can look very similar to Irene's, you want to order right now. The fabrics are not the same as hers. She had used a wide selection of her own fabrics, as I did for mine, and getting enough fabric to make a substantial number of kits was quite a challenge. There are 54 different fabrics in the kit from 10 different manufacturers. So that's something for you to consider. When they're gone, they're gone. There will be no more. Okay, then we have the basic information here. This is Irene's welcome, the fabric requirements, and the resource guide that I mentioned. So I can click on the view here, and I'm just going to show you quickly what's around. All right, this one shows, the first thing you see is a video, and this one is when it was introduced, November 1st or December 1st was this video, so you could watch that if you missed it. So the first tab is videos. The next tab is patterns and documents. And people many times come back to the forum and go, all I can see is the videos. I can't see the patterns. You need to click to the tab that's patterns. And so this one is patterns and documents. We have the block of the month intro from Irene and the fabric requirements. You can view that, which shows all of the fabrics that are in the kit, every one of them, and the name of the fabric and the manufacturer. And then the resource guide that I mentioned is right here. You could view it, and it lists the various shows that I recommend that you might want to take a look at. And then other products that are valuable for this particular quilt project are there. So we go back a page, and so we've got the Irene, we've got month one, which you don't have. I only have it right now because I'm an admin. You don't have it. I'm going to take you there and show it to you in a minute, but you don't have it today. You will have it January 1st. The Facebook and these lives, this particular place right here is where this live that I'm doing right now today, December 27th, will be listed here. So if you miss the lives, if you can't do them live or you prefer to watch them, and some of you are, it's the middle of the night where you live, our good folks in Australia and everything, it's a lot longer, it's the middle of the night. So you can watch them here and you just view them, and they'll all be listed here by the date that they were done so that you can find them. There isn't one yet because this one today is the first one for Garden Party Down Under. Okay, so now I'm going to show you, and remember, you don't have this yet, but I'm going to take you into month one, which you will have available on Saturday. And there's important things that I want to mention to you. Okay, so once again, the first thing I want you to see is the first tab that you come to on this front page is videos. So far, we have 4 of the 7 I have made listed. This week, they'll get the other 3 up there. There will be 7 videos this month. There will only be 1 or 2 each month going forward when there's something that's specific that I think that would be helpful to you. But each of those videos is there, so you can remember where they were so that you could find them. This is the basic information I want you to see for month one. It tells you that there are 6 downloads to this month, including, and here are the 6 that are listed. The applique pattern and the dogtooth border that came from Irene, that's 15 pages, though you will print that on copy paper. So that's one of the documents. The month one instructions for creating the applique block, that's a 1-page instruction. Month one border pattern from Irene for her method of making her dogtooth border, that's 1 page. Then there are 5 pages from me of my alternative border, optional alternative techniques, and that's there. And if you want those, you can use that as well. Oh, no, that first one, number 4, that's the actual border. It's a paper piece border. I'm going to show that to you in a second. Then general instructions from Irene, that's 4 pages. You'll never have to print that again. That's her general instructions for the entire quilt. So once you've printed that here in month 1, you'll have it. And then the optional alternative techniques for months 1 and 2 is 5 pages long from me, and that you obviously you won't have to print it next month because it covers month 1 and 2. So once you've seen the videos and you see what these are, when you're ready to print your patterns documents, you just go over to the tab for patterns and documents. And here they are. The ones that are listed right there are also here. You can download them, and I recommend you download them to a computer before you print them, or you can view the file if you just want to see them. Sometimes I have to view the file to see if I'd already printed it or not, so I don't end up printing it again. So this first file is the multi-page pattern from Irene. Then the month 1 is her block instructions. Month 1, this is her border instructions. Then these are my alternative patterns, and I'll just show you that. What I just mentioned to to you. Irene does everything on this quilt, needle turn, hand applique. There are 6 piece blocks, which she does piece by machine, but then everything else is hand done. I decided I was going to do those dog tooth borders that are up here in month 1 and month 2 by paper piecing. And so I generated a pattern. We've provided it for you. There is a 1-inch scale, so you can be sure that it's right. And I have also written in my instructions in detail how you can simply draw that. If you don't want to print it, I give you the measurements, and you could, with a piece of paper and a pencil, could draw the pattern. And then my optional pages of instructions for the things that I do differently. I'll show you that quickly. Come up there. And I did turned edge machine applique, and this is a lot of step-by-step information, step by step by step. You won't have to print this more than once if you're going to do this method. Lots and lots and lots of information. I think it's 5 pages long. Then I show how I write about how I do the stems. I have a video on how I do the stems. Then the dog tooth borders, that's the one for month 1. And then the one for month 2, which is larger. So that's information for you if you're interested in those alternative methods. So the first thing then to remember when you're getting ready come January, my most important thing about get ready, because January 1st is a holiday around the world for most everybody, is that you have paper and ink available to print, that your printer works, and if you're going to print these on paper. And I definitely recommend you print at least the pattern on paper, because you need to put those pages together in order to generate a full-size pattern that you can work from, the actual diagram. So make sure you have ink, make sure you have paper. And if you are going to do a fusible product like I used, Print and Piece Fuse Light, you want to have that on hand as well. The first month, I'm just going to mention so you don't miss it, I've written about it in the blog and on the video, there are 9 pages of the pattern, but I will save you 3 of those pages. You don't need to print page 7, 8, or 10, and you'll want to watch the video to find out why. But the accessory kit came with 2 packages of 25 pages each, and that would be 50 pages. If you were to print every single pattern piece throughout the whole year, it would require 52 or 53 pages. So I'm saving you a few. So in month 1, when you go to print, if you're going to use a product like Print and Piece Fuse Light for the patterns to actually cut them out to use for your with your fabric shapes, don't print 7, 8, or 10 until you decide whether you absolutely need them or not. So that is the gist of how to get around here. Then we've got, these are called the breadcrumbs. So you can always see where you were. We started on the home page. We're in Learn. The category is Block of the Month. The block of the month we're looking at is 2022 Garden Party Down Under. And I can click back on that, and it'll just take me right back over there to where we started. And as I said, don't look for this today. You don't have month 1 until January 1st. But it's these other things you do have. This YouTube Live, which is where today's live will get posted a little bit later. And then the resource guide, as well as the fabric requirements. And you can actually see every fabric right here in the kit. Let me just pull it up and see if I can show it to you in a hurry. Okay, and that was the video. And we go over here to the patterns and the documents and the fabric. I'll view the fabric file. And every once in a while, someone gets a kit and they want to buy more of the fabric, and they go, what is this fabric? This is the place to look. It shows you right there which every fabric is that's in the kit, who the manufacturer was and what the name of it was, and how much was there. So you can use that as a guide if you're putting your own kit together as well. So, okay, so that's how that part works. Each month in these lives, I'm also going to show you something about the forum, because this is the primary way we can communicate with each other. And there will be thousands of us working on this quilt around the world. So we go to forum. And when I come into forum, I know I'm connected and I'm signed in because there's my face, there's my picture. And this shows all of the various forums. The top section is Classrooms and Lives. If you've been doing Alex Anderson's specialty projects that she's been offering for free to everybody in the world, those since, last about 1.5 years ago now, that's where you would find those. The next section is Block of the Month. All the various prior year blocks of the month. The patterns are not there. As we've mentioned over and over again, come the end of December, just a few days from now, the pattern will no longer, for Color My World, will no longer be here. But the videos that were done will be there. The videos from Sizzle are there. And I strongly recommend that you look at a couple of those. Becky Goldsmith did these wonderful videos, and she did the first 3 in particular under Sizzle videos show important steps for machine type of applique. So if you're not sure whether you want to do this by machine applique, those would be great videos for you to take a look at. She also shows you how to prep the pieces she used freezer paper, but we would do a very similar thing with the print and piece fuse light. That kind of thing. So those videos are still there. The pattern instructions are not. You would have to buy them from the designer because she now owns the rights to those. So let's, I've learned a couple of things here recently. One of them is that I can click on this little bell, notifications is what that is, beside my name, and it shows me what things have come in. I've subscribed to every one of the topics so that I can see whatever anyone has said, so that I can make sure that the proper people who might be able to answer the question can see that. So I can see these here, and there are more of them, but since the last time I looked at this, which was earlier this morning. And one of them is Color My World, Your Finish Here. And so let me just take you there. I can click on it right there, and it'll take me to it. And all right. Now, one of the first things that I find that happens for me is it took me, even though it says Lasers Activity, it took me to December the 4th, and that's not where we are today. So I click on the filter, and I switch back to today. And when I come back here, I have her comment that was written today, December 27th. And her comment was to a person who did a reply, and she said, "A beautiful quilt, love your leaning tower." And so there's a lot of things like that. Another nifty little trick that you can use here, this topic was established for you, if you're working on Color My World, to show us your quilt as you get it finished. There are many pages so far. I can simply click on the Photos tab now, and I can see all of the pictures. And there are 82 photos, 6 pages here of pictures. And they start in the earliest version. This was the first person who posted one that was finished. And then they go on, scroll through all the way around. So you can see just a great tab over and look at them all. If you wanted to find the specific person, you would click on go back into the topic itself and go look for those under Posts. And the post, when I start with the Posts button, it starts with where I first began this topic, which was November 9th, 2021. So let's go to, and I like to just go back and forth with these. I could back on those notifications again. Another thing I'm going to mention to you here, if you have seen something on the forum and a day or two later you want to say, "Oh yeah, now where did I see that?" The latest posts are listed over here and it will take you directly there. And trending topics, those that get a lot of comments and posts, they're in here as well. How to download the pattern, ? Things like that. So if you saw something and you think, "Oh, now where was that?" It's easy for you to find the topic that was there. Another thing you can do is search the forum. One of the questions I am asked over and over again is about how to post photos. If I simply type in the word photos and hit the search button, quite a few topics on how to post the photos come up, and I've done step-by-step instructions on how to do that. Most people who have trouble getting their photos posted is because the photo is too large, and I will show you that in detail next month. We've got plenty enough to talk about here today to not quite do that. So let's go back to the forum in general. For me, that's the easiest way to move back and forth. You could use the back arrow or things like that. Let's go look at Garden Party Down Under. So far, there are 10 topics with 74 replies. For the current one that's wrapping up, there are 241 topics with almost 4,500 replies. So it's a very active place for you to get help and questions and answers. All right, and I'm not the only one who has to answer. If you know the answer to someone's question, by all means, jump right in there. So I'm on the top, the category, Block of the Month 2022, Garden Party Down Under. And one of the topics that I posted yesterday was called Let's Get Ready. It let people know about today. And the blog that I wrote yesterday, which is Let's Get Ready. And a lot of what I'm telling you today is written in that blog. So you can look at that as well. As I said, my blogs come out typically Sunday and Wednesday. Yes, there will be another one this Wednesday, but it won't pertain to the Block of the Month. show your fabrics here. People are starting to put pictures up. How I wrote a blog a couple of weeks ago on how did I select the fabrics for my sample that's behind me on the wall, and I show pictures of it and how I did all of that. So that's there. So if you have a question, if you look first in the categories to see if we've already got a category about that. If there isn't one, then you can write a new topic, and you click on new topic. Just pay attention to where you are. You're in the 2022 Garden Party Down Under Create New Topic. You give it a title, and then you write something about it, and then you click on Post. To add a photo, you would click on this and do your photo, but as I said, we'll mention that next time. So that's how you can create a new topic. I do encourage you to make sure that there isn't already a topic, particularly when it comes to starting January 1st. I will have 2 new topics on here. One will be month 1, ask questions here, and the other one will be month 1, show your progress here. Don't start another one to show your pictures and go, here's my month 1 picture, and call that a topic. The reason for that is because it wouldn't take too long before we would have hundreds of those individual topics. And in order for anyone to see what you did, they'd have to open your topic and look. That's why we have one general topic, show your progress here, or ask your questions here. So look first to see if there's already a topic that's ready for you, so that you could see what's there. Okay, I think that's enough of that. We can go back. I'm in the forum, back over here to the forum. And as I said, this was kind of great when I discovered this the other day, that was a great way for me to see the notifications. Someone's been asking about how to get their circle flat, and that one's in Block of the Month 2021. So anyway, that's how that goes. And once I've opened them, you see the ones that we had open a few minutes ago, they're not here anymore, because once I've gone to them, it takes them off. I could hunt them out again if I wanted to, but I don't need to. So, all right, I think that's everything I wanted to show you on the website. So let us switch back now to, all right, oops, went the wrong way. Okay, go here and document camera. Okay, cool. Okay, darling. All right, this is the month 1 block that I've been working on for the last couple of weeks. To do all of those videos, I needed to have something that I could show you. And while I was making my quilt last summer, May and June, it took us 10 weeks to make it from the day I got the patterns to the day I put the label on the finished quilt. And I took a lot of photographs, but they don't work in videos so much as, and I know most people really would like to see the videos. So when I got my kit December the 3rd, I think, so I was able to use the kit fabrics. But these are not all the kit fabrics. Some of my favorite fabrics are in here, but they're not all the kit fabrics. So for example, this fabric on these leaves, this is not part of the kit. It just happened to look great color-wise, and I had a piece of it there, and so I decided I would use it. These are cave fabrics. This flower is not part of the kit. The little center circle is a kit fabric. And let me see if there's a few others that aren't kit fabrics. There's one of these yellows, is the center here is a batik, and that was not a kit fabric. They just had a way of calling me across the room going, take a look, I want to be in that one. So I said, okay, I'll let you be in that one. So this is the center. I've got one more thing to put on the middle, and I'm going to talk about that when we come back to our first live for month 1, which will be the first Friday of January, January the 7th. So I'm not going to show you that now, but I'll show you that when we get there. So there's a lot of the videos show how to cut these pieces. I have 2 of the borders on right now, and this is what I was talking about. Irene's borders are hand appliqued in place. She cuts these individual triangles, turns under these 2 side edges, and uses a long strip of background fabric, and then she hand needle turns those under. I chose to do it by paper piecing, and so we have generated the pattern for you and provided it. Month 1 has this size border, it's 18 inches, and month 2 has a 33-inch border, and you'll get patterns for both of those should you want to paper piece it instead of hand applique. It's entirely up to you. Just one of the things that in my sample quilt, my little berries are purple because they're grapes. This is one of the kit fabrics, and I used this, and I thought they looked like cherries. And I ended up with a circle that's larger than the circle on the pattern, so these are fat cherries as opposed to little tiny cherries. And So in hindsight, I would do them smaller again if I was to make it over again. I'm not making a third one of these, but so you can decide what size you want them to be. These, as I said, these are larger. In the pattern itself, some of Irene's vines are 1/4 inch finished, which is this size, and some are 1/8 of an inch finished. I made the decision way back in May that just for speed, since I was making all 600 or so inches of stems, vines, that I was not making any 1/8 of an inch turned edge vine stems. Mine were all going to be a 1/4. And this one is actually a little bit wider than a 1/4 here. And the one that was my sample, which you'll have pictures of on the blog and in the videos, the woman in my group who was wonderful, Joan, who did a great job with our center block, I gave them the freedom to do, I called this, let's make this a sampler of techniques. And I gave them freedom to make some changes. And so she hand embroidered the green stem here, a very narrow, it's about 1/8 of an inch, beautifully hand embroidered with pearl cotton thread. It is beautiful. And then the little tiny purple grapes that are, as I said, smaller than these. So you can do those kind of things. And I'll show you some options each month if there's a potential way that you might be able to use the machine instead of handwork. So this just kind of gives you an idea. It's some of the kit fabrics, but it's not all the kit fabrics, and you can decide where you want them. There is one of the videos is on how to cut this down. We start with a 20-inch square of fabric. Each month, Irene's instructions tell you what size to overcut the background before you do the applique. But when you get all the applique done, then you need to trim it to the exact size that it needs to be trimmed to. This had to be trimmed to 18.5. And I did a video on that because what I discovered if I measured from center out, the center is just about here. If I measured over here, this one little round circle was going to be right up against that border. And I had a lot more space over on the opposite side, on the left side. So I did a video to show you how I made the adjustments and turned it around and took a little space from here and provided it over here. Then when I got it all done, I could see, let me move this up here too, this little guy, he's dropped himself down a little bit. I would have done better to move him up. And what happened with those, I'm sure, is as I laid this big background on the full-size pattern, it just moved around a little bit and I had it a little bit close. So this is obviously going to have a border down here. If it were within that 1/4 of an inch, that I would not be happy with that. And I probably would have taken the whole flower off and moved it up a little bit. But I can live with this. The fact that I'm going to have 2 or 3 threads between the border and that's fine with me. So that's just an idea of things for you to think about. Those are the things I write about in the blog, warning, note, be aware, things like that, and that I've done blogs and videos for to show you what they are. Okay, I think we can come back now to the webcam. Cool. Oh, good. We're doing okay time-wise. It's just about 2 minutes. 2:32. I'm going to go look at if there are any questions that you have. I'll remind you that the lives, these lives will be done on the first Friday of each month. For January, that doesn't happen until January 7th, which is why I wanted to talk to you today, because some of you will be done by January 7th. You'll jump right in. And I wanted to mention some of these, especially these like alert, alert, be sure that you don't drop that flower down inside the seam allowance and things like that. So January 7th is when we'll be back again with a live, and I'll show you what I'm going to do to this middle that I haven't put in place yet, because I want to show you a couple of options for that. And I always check the forum several times a day. That's the best way for you to ask and get questions asked of me or others and answer them. So let me now take a look and see what kind of questions, if any, we have. Alrighty. This is when I find out who's here. And if we have many people here, I'm going to go up at the top and start and say, okay, alrighty. Northern Wisconsin. Some of you folks have got some snow. It's a little warm down here. We're about 20 degrees warmer than normal this week. We're in the 70s. New Hampshire, Alaska. You probably have some snow. Oakland, Tennessee, Florida, Atlanta. Okay. Ohio, Louisiana. Margot. Hey, there's my buddy Margot. Erie, Pennsylvania. All right. Excited to make this quilt. by Irene Blanck. Got my Color My World finished. Most amazing thing is it lies flat, reasonably flat. I think I may even quilt it myself. That's been so exciting. I am thrilled to see when people post, especially Color My World, which was not a simple quilt at all. And people who have been happy that their quilt not only went together, excuse me, but it's flat and that they're happy with it. Many of them are quilting them themselves, which I do encourage you to do, because it's not. How do I join to become a star member? Great question, Nancy. Go to thequiltshow.com. You'll end up right there on the home page, and there'll be a box right there to click on that says join, and they'll walk you through the whole process. Quite easy. Then you will be a star member, and your membership, just so everybody knows, is 365 days from the day that you sign up. So if you join today, your subscription will expire December 27th next year, 2022. And since we will have released the December month 12 instructions for Garden Party Down Under on December 1st, you will have a complete set of all the patterns if you join today. Is it going to be the same time? Yes. The lives are, for me, it's noon Central Time. California time, it's 10 in the morning. Eastern Standard Time, it would be 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So yes, we do. This is the time that we do these lives. Canada, got some snow up there. Brazil, always nice to see our international friends. Love Irene style. This is a great quilt for if you're new to applique. The middle makes a really great center that you could just get started on, and you'll learn a lot of tips. And so let me see. Okay, got some messages. What do you think about using a dark background? A dark background fabric, Joanne asked this question, would be great, would be beautiful. You'll just, you won't use dark vases. You'll use lighter vases. It would be beautiful, and it would certainly make the quilt your own. All righty. Fort Worth. Okay, I'm so excited to spend the year with Miss. Yep, I would love to go back to Fort Worth. I love to teach, and any place in Texas, you could count on me. I would love to come. So let's go in there. Chile, it's 3 p.m. There's Elena Ramirez telling us that. Good, and they put my blog up there too. Wisconsin, West Norman. Good, okay. So I'm sure that there will be some questions come January 7th, when you've had a chance to work on this a little bit. I said, if you've got some time looking at those two masterclass applique, masterclass 1, masterclass 2, you can I put them here, run them on my computer when I'm sewing in my studio, and they're kind of background to me. And when I want to stop and see something specific, I can move over there to the computer and look at it and back it up if I wanted to see it again. Those will just give you some ideas. I know when we get to this stage, I'm always real excited and want to get started. And this can help you to make some decisions about, do you want to do hand applique? Do you want to do machine applique? Do you want to do turned edge machine applique? Do you want to do raw edge machine applique? You get to decide. That's the great thing about this quilt. Even if you're using the kit, we're not telling you where the fabrics go. You'll decide every one of the fabrics, where they go. So that everybody's kit, although the kits are the same, the quilts will be different because of the way that they were done. So anyway, so I look forward to spending a year with you as we travel down this wonderful journey, making this great quilt. It is just, I'm thrilled with my quilt. I'm thrilled with the fact that I had 8 of my good friends help me make it. I did all the quilting myself. I love it. It was wonderful to see it in the studio, hanging right next to Irene's. Our styles and fabric choices are a little different, but the quilt itself is a wonderful design, and we're really excited